I like you. Thanks for being here. I have a story about that, but I want you to just pay close attention to whatever your reaction was. And if you found this on LinkedIn, well, wherever you found this video, give me a comment and see if it stirred any thoughts for you. But when I'm done. So, what I'm talking about today is the importance of nurturing and follow up and engaging your communities of prospects, leads, customers, and anyone else who's associated with your business. And this is a stat you hear all the time. 80% of salespeople out there. In fact, there's an ad on SiriusXM. It's an extremely annoying ad by one of these really aggressive sales type people. He's got a training system that's going to magically improve your entire business, and there's no doubt it probably works because I can guarantee you I could help you sell 20% more next year if we could just spend some time working on this. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. If you're a funeral home owner, you're an agent, and you want to grow your business, you have a growth mindset, and you want to look for ways, find ways to grow your program or your business or your career, I can absolutely 100% guaranteed help you do that. Coming back now, 80% of salespeople only follow up a total of 3 times. Large percentage quits after the first 1 or 2, but 80% of us don't do anything. After the 3rd attempt, we just drop it. But what you don't hear enough about are stories like this one that I'm going to tell you now, which is Joe Girard. Goes down as the greatest salesperson of all time. He was a car salesman. He sold more cars at the time that he was selling them. I think it was from like 1969 to 1978, something like that. 60s and late 60s and 70s. He sold more cars than 95% of the dealerships across the entire United States. I don't care what year you're in or when you're doing this. That's super impressive. And as a former car salesman, getting to be long ago now, I can tell you that selling 6 to 10 cars in a day, every day, day in and day out for your entire career is insane. If you sold 2 on a day, it was amazing. If you got a hat trick, 3, you were on cloud 9. This guy was doubling that many days of the week. And he was doing it at retail. And he was doing it because he was following up effectively with his customers, his prospects, and his community. And this is what I mean by this is the story you don't hear. Because let me just, before I tell you what he was doing, I want to ask you a question because I want to give you another point of perspective and context here. Would you today spend $13,000 to $15,000 on, let's just say, cards sent in the mail, but it could be some kind of digital media? We have to find the balance between those 2 things now in today's world, and especially with this story, because what Joe did is he sent out personal greeting cards to everybody on an ongoing basis every month. And I'm sure he was sending thank you cards and follow-up cards of other kinds to his direct customers too. That was not part of the story I just read, but I'm sure he was doing other stuff. But he would send out, for example, a Valentine's Day card to all of his people, and inside it would wish him a happy Valentine's Day, and he would just write in there, I like you, and then stamp it with his dealership information. Now you're going to say, John, that's so corny. That's so lame. And nobody reads the mail anymore. And that's your opportunity, by the way. Because if nobody's in the mail and you're in the mail, you're the only one in the mail. What might you be able to do with that if you could get over the reaction I'm sure you had when I asked you, could you spend $15,000 a month on mail? Can you spend $150,000 to $200,000 a month on mail this year? Can you do it? Can you find a way to muster the courage to do it? If you know you're getting the return on your investment, you absolutely can, because here's something else. The businesses that win, especially the small local businesses like a funeral home, the businesses that win are the businesses that can spend the most to acquire a customer. Hang on here a second. I got a cop up here, so I'm going to remove my headset. Now, there's a good chance that, pardon me, there's a good chance that you're thinking the exact opposite. Well, wait a minute, John. It should be whoever can spend the least amount to get a customer. That's the business that's going to win because they're going to invest less money in their marketing to do that. And then I'm going to say that's a surface level way to think about it, and it's not the full equation. This is the math inside your business. 2 things. How much does it cost you? Because the first thing is that most businesses have no idea how much it's costing to acquire a new customer. They can probably tell you how much they're spending on marketing, and they have customers, but putting the 2 together often is, most of the time, it's not there. Because most business owners have no idea how much it costs them to acquire a new customer, let alone the even more important number, which is the lifetime value of your customer. And if you're a funeral home, this is an interesting question because you're not selling someone their funeral repeatedly, right? But those families have other family members who can pre-plan and other family members who they'll refer or who will come and see you. And this is how a funeral home builds its brand and its business over the years. So imagine what would happen if you combine the amazing work that you're already doing with your communities with a simple campaign like the one I just described. Most will never do it. There might not be one funeral home listening to this podcast that would actually follow through and do that, one funeral home or one agent. I hope there is, because I want to hear the story one day, 10 years from now, about how you sold millions of extra stuff because you started doing this. Because I guarantee you, if you start doing something like this, it's going to impact your business in amazing ways. There's no telling what it might create for you. And the cool part about it in today's world is that you can combine that very simple strategy. Once again, if you can get over the idea that you're going to take 150 grand or 50 grand, a lot of money, and spend it in the mail doing this without an immediate sale every time you send something out and let it build over time, you're going to have to pull dollars away from other things in order to do this. But when you combine that idea with content creation and content marketing and education-based marketing and your website and the opportunity that almost every funeral home is missing right now on their website with the copywriting and the content and everything they're not doing on their website that would accomplish some of these same things. And then you can tie this together with cards and text messages and phone calls and events at your funeral home and beyond. And maybe there's somebody inside your funeral home who could become like kind of an influencer for your business. It should be you as the owner or the agent. You should be thinking about it that way, because if you do and when you do, you will build a kind of sales career, the kind of success that Joe Girard did. He sold 13,001 cars during that time. Once again, more than 95% of all the other dealerships across the country, because he was following up effectively. So here's what I want to finish with, because this is happening over and over again in death care. It's been happening for the almost 10 years I've been in the business. And it's you being sold great, new, fancy, shiny things for your business, new websites, social media packages, Facebook marketing, Google ads, SEO, all this stuff. And when it comes to pre-need in particular, being sold systems, some aftercare systems, in addition to all the things I just mentioned, generating leads, potential leads, good potential leads and connections, the future of your business, and you've got nobody to effectively follow up with those people. No one wants to do it. They don't believe in it. Maybe you don't believe in it. You definitely don't have time for it. There's a million and one reasons why you're not focused on this part of your business, and it's totally understandable. And until now, until I came along and said, this is ridiculous. So let's help these people. Instead of making an excuse, every time I ask a vendor, can you tell me what the ROI is on what you're doing? Can you tell me exactly what you're doing for this, that, or the other thing for these customers, these funeral homes that you're taking care of, because I'm on a demo call on behalf of one of my partners? They don't have good answers. They don't have good numbers, and they almost always will go to blaming it on you and your team. Oh, well, it's really up to the funeral home and their team as to what they do with the leads that we're creating for them. So it creates a fantastic gray area for these vendors to be able to sell you a lot of fluff that you don't need. There are funeral homes investing all over the country in stuff that they absolutely do not need. I encourage you to get rid of all of it. Let's start from scratch and let's start building one layer at a time. And I've got the first layer. I've got the marketing engine. I've got automations and sequences and follow-up that will allow us to implement this system, whether you've got somebody to do it or not. That's the beauty of it. And when we find somebody to do it right along with you or for you as an agent, and that person is ready to work with me with the systems that I've built, that's when the real leveling up starts to happen. But it can start before that. So let's get working on it, shall we? And we start with, that was just a conversation, no pressure. Because I'll tell you right now, not everybody's a good fit for me. Most funeral homes are not a good fit for me and my approach, because you need to be engaged. Because I can work with 50 overall, and I have 30. So I have literally 20 spots left for partners, because I'm doing things for your pre-need program that no other provider can do. And that takes time, energy, and money to do. So I've got to be real focused with the right partners so that it works for everybody. I hope to hear from you soon. John Ashworth, AKA Johnny Renaissance. Happy holidays, everybody. And I hope to hear from you soon. And if I never hear from you, which is going to be true for almost everybody who listens to this, start following up with your prospects, your customers, your colleagues, your family. It'll turn your life around. Take care, everybody.